At the wrap party, the crowd cheered for Oscar and Alicia to kiss like they did in the drama. The two exchanged glances and smiled knowingly. The next second, they were glued together. Amid the excited screams, someone suddenly shouted, "How about the second female lead and the male lead kiss too?" Oscar's eyes darkened instantly. "I am the second female lead, and I am Oscar's real girlfriend." Chapter 1. The room quieted down under Oscar's cold gaze. It was a bit awkward. Alicia quickly took Oscar's arm. "Oh, you guys. Stop teasing us. I'll kiss Aussie again for you. Just don't force him to do something he doesn't like." Something he doesn't like? I wonder who it was that got drunk last night and cornered me against the wall, kissing me for 10 minutes. I put down my glass and walked toward Oscar. "It's just a kiss." I smiled. "It's no big deal. Emperor song. Just go along with it." Oscar frowned slightly. "Cora." There was a warning in his tone. "Oh, Cora." Alicia stepped in front of Oscar. "They're just joking. Don't take it seriously." My eyes shifted downward, and Oscar's hand was conveniently placed on her waist. The two of them, tightly embracing, really seemed inseparable. "Get lost," I said calmly. Alicia was stunned for a moment, and her eyes immediately reddened. Oscar's expression grew darker. "Cora, stop it," he said in a low voice. Alicia tugged at his sleeve. "Don't be so harsh. Cora must be drunk. It's the wrap party. You can't be mad." He looked at her helplessly and indulgently, then gently took her hand. How intimate. I looked up at the man in front of me, who was protecting Alicia. Just like in the drama, I was the villainous supporting character, and he was the devoted husband. Even though I was his girlfriend, he had never once protected me in public. "Get out," I repeated, swallowing my disgust. "This time, both of you, get out." Chapter 2. Of course, the main characters wouldn't leave, under everyone's watchful eyes. I slammed the door and walked out. While drinking alone on the hotel rooftop, I received a text from Oscar. "Come back and apologize to Alicia. Just say you were drunk." Ha. I blocked him immediately, as light rain began to fall. I looked up, feeling my face grow wet. I couldn't help but think of the 4 years I had spent with Oscar. For 4 years, I stood by him, watching him grow from a top celebrity to an acclaimed actor. Back then, as a traffic star, he starred in a small web drama that unexpectedly went viral. The company arranged for him to fake a relationship with the drama's female lead, Alicia, and he couldn't refuse. He was in agony at first, always holding me and saying, "My baby, I'm sorry for making you suffer. I really don't want to fake this relationship with her. I can only pretend she's you. That's the only way I can smile." He said, "Baby, wait for me. Wait until I become a big shot. Until I'm no longer controlled by others. Then I'll tell the whole world that I love you." Back then, we would still dream about the future together. A dog, 2 kids, 3 meals a day, 4 seasons of love. When did it start? He returned my calls less and less, while his gaze toward Alicia grew increasingly tender. They faked their relationship for 4 years, never admitting it, but always ambiguous. In public, he would tie her shoelaces on set, or take time to ride the cruise bike with her through the mountains. In private, he hired a lawyer to handle her defamation lawsuits, and took her to dinners with famous directors. Fans called them the detail couple because they always found sweet moments between the two in their interactions. Some things, perhaps after playing the role for so long, had become real, but I was trapped in this game, foolishly unaware. Chapter 3. Just as I was getting slightly tipsy, my agent Laura's call came in. "Cora, where are you?" I mumbled a response, still a bit dazed. "Something happened. You're trending." "Trending?" Half sobered up, I grabbed my phone. It turned out that someone had uploaded a video from the wrap party online. The top 4 spots on the trending list were all about Oscar and Alicia. Hashtag Oscar Alicia passionate gaze hashtag. Hashtag Oscar Alicia wrap party kiss hashtag. Hashtag Oscar R Alicia when will they go public hashtag. Hashtag Oscar Alicia how much would you gift if they married hashtag. And starting from the 5th spot, it was all about me. Hashtag Cora clowning hashtag. Hashtag Cora rap party bullying Alicia hashtag. Hashtag Cora got her role through connections hashtag. The comments were filled with insults directed at me. What's this? Doesn't she have any shame? With that filthy mouth of hers. She actually thought she could kiss our Oscar? So disgusting. Did anyone spray air freshener after she left? She's so full of herself. Slamming the door like that. Who gave her the guts? Someone should investigate her backers. Trash. Ugh. I'm so angry. Alicia was bullied to the point of tears by her. I usually don't judge actors based on their roles. Except for Cora. She's definitely playing herself. No acting skills and got her role through connections. I heard the second female lead was arranged for her. Of course. She's just playing her true self as a villain. Arranged? Ha. Indeed. It was arranged. I originally secured the female lead role through my own efforts. But before I joined the crew, Oscar's company pressured the director through the producers to replace me with Alicia. They said that Alicia and Oscar had more of a ship vibe, and that this would make the drama more successful. Oscar even told me that if he played a couple with me, it would be too hard for him to control himself, and our relationship would be exposed. I refused, and we had a huge fight. My contract with this company is about to end. Cora, can't you just be a little more understanding? He said I was being unreasonable, but he had no idea how hard I worked to get this role. At first, the director disagreed with the change. He spoke with me, promising to stick to his choice, but the next day, he was fired. I was assigned the role of the second female lead, the villainous supporting character. That night, as I watched Oscar and Alicia promote their new drama together on TV, I sat there, chewing on bread. They say the longer you chew bread, the sweeter it becomes, but all I tasted was bitterness. Sometimes, unless you see it with your own eyes or hear it with your own ears, you won't give up hope. Even then, I still had a sliver of hope that once his contract ended, we wouldn't be constrained anymore, and we could be together openly. I wanted to be closer to him, to spend more time with him, so I accepted the role in that drama, but it felt like I was feeding myself to the wolves, witnessing their sweet love on and off set. As I thought about it, tears began to fall uncontrollably. I kept scrolling through my phone and saw another trending topic. Hashtag Oscar protects his love hashtag. The comments were full of people urging them to get married. Of course, every few comments, there would be one cursing and insulting me. They said that someone like me, who bullies others, should just die early. It had been an hour, and Oscar hadn't posted a single clarification. Everyone involved stayed silent, letting the trending topics climb to the top. I wiped away my tears, took out my phone, and unblocked Oscar. In the end, I acted on impulse, but we needed to have a clear conversation. I typed out the words I thought I might never say. Oscar, let's break up. Chapter 4. Oscar found me 3 hours later. Impressive. Huh? You even dared to block me. He walked over and tried to grab me. Don't touch me. I shook off his hand. Cora, there's a limit to how much you can throw a tantrum, he said in a lowered voice. You were the one who caused a scene at the rap party today. Was I wrong to ask you to apologize? It could have been solved easily, but you had to blow it up so the whole internet knows. I let out a bitter laugh. Did you lose anything? He was silent. Of course. He didn't lose anything. What a great free promotion this was, getting the drama trending even before it airs. That's why my trending topics are still up, with no one bothering to handle them. Ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. I staggered to my feet and pushed him away. Oscar, I'm serious about breaking up. From now on, stay as far away from me as possible. You're drunk. He frowned. I'm speaking from the heart. Oscar looked at me silently for a moment, sighed, and softened his tone. Baby, stop it, okay? Let's go home. Leave. Laura will come to pick me up in a while. But instead of leaving, he pulled me into his arms forcefully. Stop making a scene, okay? Come home with me. This time, I'll pretend I didn't hear anything, and you're never allowed to mention breaking up again. Understand? After saying that, he lowered his head to kiss me. Honestly, I used to fall for this. A few times. After arguing because of Alicia, he would coax me like this. But this time, Just thinking about how he was clinging to Alicia earlier made me sick. Oscar's song. I struggled to push him away and turned my head. Do you not understand human language? I want to break up with you. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the door to the rooftop. Laura was standing there with wide eyes. She must have just arrived. I quickly broke free from Oscar, grabbed Laura, and left. Cora! Oscar's voice came from behind, tinged with anger. Say that again. I took a deep breath, turned around, and looked at him, enunciating each word clearly. I want to break up with you. Fine. Fine. Very well. He laughed coldly. You want to break up? I agree. Don't regret it. Chapter 5. I stayed at Laura's place for a week, and Oscar didn't contact me even once. On the weekend, the casting results for the movie I auditioned for last month came out. Laura looked at me, hesitant to speak. What's wrong? I didn't get it. I smiled, already used to it. No, they said the female lead is still undecided. Right now, it's between you and Alicia, and the final decision will be made by the male lead. The male lead? It's Oscar. Oh, Cora. Sis, Laura said hesitantly. You know, last time, Oscar made you give up the female lead to Alicia, and you're his real girlfriend after all. He has some influence in the industry now. Maybe we should talk to him, Laura. I shook my head. Oscar and I have already broken up. Laura's eyes widened. Really? Really broken up? What else? Weren't you there at the time? I thought you were just having a fight. But Cora, sis, Laura said worriedly. Are you really okay with this? Can you really let go? This is Oscar we're talking about. Can I really let go? Can I really move on? I've asked myself that question many times. 4 years of love, companionship, and sacrifices, there were sweet moments. No doubt. Even now, I can vividly remember the first thing he said to me, nervously trying to strike up a conversation. I remember him staying by my side for 3 days and nights, red-eyed. When I was sick, I remember him driving 1,000 kilometers just to catch a glimpse of me on set. But even the most vibrant paintings eventually fade. Maybe you should go back and talk to him. Go back? I smiled. I am going back. But it's just to collect my things. Chapter 6. The apartment that Oscar and I lived in, he actually rarely stayed there anymore. The paparazzi were too persistent. He was busy with work, and our schedules didn't always align. When I opened the door to the apartment, I didn't expect Oscar to be there. He was in casual clothes, holding his phone, as if waiting for a message from someone. It seemed that the sound of the door brought him back to reality. In just a moment, his expression darkened, and he looked at me, speaking in a deep voice. Have you come to your senses? Finally willing to come back? I nodded. Yes, I've come to my senses. I walked straight to the bedroom, opened the closet, and started thinking about which clothes to take with me. Oscar followed me. I'm not mad at you about this anymore. Just don't be impulsive in the future. I've removed all the trending topics about you online. Just apologize publicly to Alicia, and I'll give you the female lead in the new movie. It's just a female lead, right? He muttered softly. Is that worth all this drama? I pulled out a suitcase and opened it. Do you have work coming up? He was taken aback. I terminated my contract, I said without looking up. What? His voice rose. You didn't discuss such a big decision with me? I sighed. Why should I discuss it with you? I looked up at him. We've broken up. Oscar. Broken up. He paused, then walked over and squatted beside me. Cora, haven't you had enough of this? It's such a small thing. Is it worth dragging it out like this? Alicia and I have been in a publicity relationship for years. You know that. Why are you suddenly so sensitive about it this time? I snapped the suitcase shut and looked up. Oscar, do you know why I agreed to take the role of the second female lead in that drama? He looked confused for a moment. Because I missed you. So even though that drama only gave me the role of a villainous supporting character, I still took it. I just missed him and wanted to see him more often. But when I got to the set, you treated me like a stranger. He hesitated. Just because of that? Alicia and I have a contract for a publicity relationship. You know that. After all these years, You always bring this up to argue. Do you know how exhausting that is? And besides, why should we kiss in front of other people? Do you really like exposing our privacy that much? Cora, can't you consider my feelings before you throw a tantrum? I looked at him quietly. Oscar, do you know that I was deliberately mistreated on set? During my period, I had to film a water scene 10 times, and the next day I had a fever so high it almost turned into pneumonia. He was stunned. You didn't know, did you? Because during those days, even though you had no scenes to film, you were busy traveling and taking pictures with Alicia. I texted you that I wasn't feeling well, and you replied 5 hours later. Do you remember what you said? You said, drink more hot water. By the time Oscar texted me back, Laura had already taken me, delirious with fever, to the hospital. They said, he stammered. They said you had something urgent. That's why you left. I shook my head with a bitter smile. Oscar, I love you, so I was willing to endure these grievances for you. But sometimes, just once, I wish that when I'm suffering, my boyfriend could be there for me. The wrap party incident was just the final straw that broke the camel's back. What I want is actually very little, even in a quiet corner. Just a whispered comfort, a piece of candy, a gentle kiss. But there was none, not even once. You say I'm being unreasonable. Maybe I really am. I stood up the suitcase and prepared to leave. He suddenly grabbed my hand. Our 4 years together. Arguments are one thing, but you can't just casually talk about breaking up. Do you know that? He stared into my eyes. I know. He looked at me in disbelief. And you still want to break up with me? Is our relationship that trivial, that worthless to you? I shook my head, not wanting to argue with him anymore. Oscar, we're not about to break up. We've already broken up. I pulled my hand away, took a couple of steps, and then turned back. You know, I'm usually pretty easygoing and rarely argue with anyone. We had a relationship. Let's end it amicably. Since I'm leaving the industry, I won't write any posts or share any photos to ruin your reputation. Consider that. I paused. Your parting gift. He was stunned and suddenly rushed over to grab me. Cora, stop this. Where will you go if you leave me? Then, in a deep voice, he added, if you really insist on leaving today, then we'll never be able to go back. Ding dong. Just then, the doorbell rang. I turned and opened the door, and I was stunned. Alicia was standing outside, and she was just as surprised to see me. She looked past me and greeted Oscar in a shy voice. Oh, it's just that, Aussie. When I came over 2 days ago to borrow the bathroom, I think I left a piece of underwear inside. The air was silent. I suddenly laughed and turned back. Borrowing the bathroom was part of the contract too? Oscar paused and then said in a deep voice, friends help each other out. She just borrowed the bathroom. Do you have to be so sarcastic? If you really don't trust me at all, then maybe we should just break up. Yeah, let's just break up. It was already time to end it anyway. I walked out, and Oscar hesitated for a moment, then quickly followed. The elevator arrived just then, and I stepped inside. Oscar was about to enter too, but Alicia suddenly grabbed him. Aussie, don't go down. The paparazzi are outside. We'll get caught. And in that moment of hesitation, the elevator doors finally closed completely. Chapter 7. I bought the earliest ticket back to Haiching. Laura, with red-rimmed eyes, came to see me off. Cora, now that you're not acting anymore, what are your plans when you return home? Oscar had asked me the same question. I'll have to go home and follow the arrangements. When I was young, I had a falling out with my parents and brother, insisting on entering the entertainment industry and proving myself. Now, after 4 years in the industry, I hadn't even landed a lead role and was left with a tarnished reputation. In our line of work, it's pretty hard to find a job outside the circle. Yeah, it's a real headache. I sighed. I might just have to go back and inherit the family business. What? Laura was stunned. As it was time to board, I gave Laura a hug. If you ever visit Haiching, feel free to stop by the Sioux Group headquarters. Sioux Group? Laura repeated, her eyes wide. The top domestic company in the household goods industry? She looked up and noticed the giant Sioux Group advertisement not far from the airport. So, You're Sue and the Sue Group Sue. Yes. It's the same Sue. Chapter 8. The flight took 2 hours. As the plane landed in Haicheng, I was greeted by the familiar scent of the sea breeze. When I got home, I found out something had happened. My parents had been living abroad for a long time, and the family business had been left in my brother's hands. My brother had intended to keep it from me, but I noticed many of the antique paintings and his treasured cars were missing from the garage. Under pressure, he finally told me that the company had recently encountered a financial crisis. Mom and Dad don't know yet, my brother said, rubbing his temples. This time, it's complicated. We need to find a partner company as soon as possible. But right now, the only one that might have enough capital is the Liu family, and the amount is so large that just signing a contract might not be enough. I was silent for a moment. Of course, I knew what that meant. So, brother, you're talking about a marriage alliance? My brother sighed. I can go. My brother was taken aback and looked up. But what about that boy you were seeing in the entertainment industry? We broke up. My brother had always doted on me when I insisted on not staying in the family business and pursuing a career in the entertainment industry. He was the one who helped persuade our parents. He had shouldered the company alone for so many years, and now that he was in trouble, I knew I had to help him no matter what. Then, should we go meet them? My brother hesitated. If you don't like him after meeting, we can refuse. There are other ways. I nodded. Okay. Chapter 9. Life, it seems, can be quite dramatic. Just 2 weeks ago, I broke up with Oscar, and now I'm sitting in a fancy Western restaurant on a blind date with Martin Liu of the Liu Group. Martin had messaged me saying he'd be a little late due to some urgent matters, so I took out my phone to pass the time by reading a novel. 10 minutes later, Martin arrived. He was dressed in a tailored suit, from his face to his physique, dazzling enough to rival any celebrity. Sorry for the delay. Miss Sue, something came up. No problem, Mr. Liu. I just got here myself. He sat down. Shall we begin? I nodded. You can ask first. I thought for a moment. Are you in good health? Except for occasional stomach discomfort. Nothing serious. Oh, that's fine. Typical CEO syndrome. What? Oh, it's just that. I laughed. You might not know, but in romance novels, the CEOs always have stomach issues, caused by irregular eating habits. He surprisingly explained patiently. Sometimes I try to eat on time, but I end up eating in the office when I'm home alone, so there's no fixed schedule. Anything else wrong with the CEOs in those novels? He suddenly asked. Huh? I was taken aback. In the novels, CEOs also tend to suffer from insomnia. That's not an issue for me. He thought for a moment. I sleep well, no snoring, and I don't hog the covers. Oh, I don't hog the covers either. I responded instinctively, then immediately regretted it. What am I saying? That's good. He didn't seem to notice my slight embarrassment, just smiled and asked, anything else you'd like to ask? I quickly shook my head. No, that's all. So Miss Sue's requirements for a partner are just good health and no insomnia? He chuckled. Of course not. I shook my head. They also have to be rich. But the rich part didn't need any verification. He laughed again. Do you have any questions for me? I asked. He shook his head. No, I'm quite satisfied. I hesitated for a moment. Mr. Liu, there are some things you should know about me. I used to be in the entertainment industry, and I have a bit of a bad reputation. Are you referring to the trending topics from the rap party? He picked up his glass. I'm aware. He looked up and saw me staring at him. A bit stunned, he smiled. Miss Sue, you didn't think I'd come to this blind date without doing some research, did you? Gathering all available information before making a business decision is a basic skill for a businessman. And you don't mind? If it's just that, it's only a part of your past. I don't mind, and you shouldn't either. What if there's more? He put down his glass, looking at me with interest. I thought for a moment and decided to lay everything out about my relationship with Oscar. I don't want to deceive you. After 4 years of being together, it's only been 2 weeks since our breakup. And honestly, I haven't fully moved on yet. although we might be contractually bound as partners for business reasons, and could potentially divorce after a few years. I felt it was important to tell you. The air was quiet for a moment as Martin crossed his hands and rested his chin on them, looking at me with a calm gaze. Miss Sue, first of all, since my great-grandfather's time, no one in the Liu family has ever been divorced, and I don't intend to break that record in my generation. I was taken aback. Second, everyone has a past. People aren't machines. It's normal that you haven't moved on yet. I won't hold it against you. So, you also have a past? I couldn't help but ask. He smiled. As a normal man of my age, it's only natural that I've had someone I cared about. Had. Of course. If it had worked out, he wouldn't be here on a blind date with me. Do you have any regrets? Maybe I did in the past, but not anymore. Don't worry, he said. Meeting new people and experiencing new things will help heal a lot. I nodded. Yes, that's true. All the sweetness and sorrow with Oscar would eventually be washed away by the passage of time. One day, I might also be able to talk about my past loves as casually as he did. We chatted for a while longer. Martin was a smart and mature man, and the good thing about talking with someone like him is that no matter the topic, it made me feel comfortable. Do you like reading novels? He asked suddenly when we talked about hobbies. I just read them to pass the time when I'm bored. Besides what you mentioned earlier, are there any other common tropes in these novels? He seemed genuinely interested. Most of them follow common patterns, like the one I was reading earlier, where the female lead is hurt by the male lead, and then a particularly kind, wealthy, and gentle second male lead appears. A particularly kind, wealthy, and gentle second male lead? He looked up and smiled. Miss Sue, are you hinting at something? No, I'm not. Being wealthy isn't a problem, but being gentle depends on one's nature. Anne, he paused, a glimmer passing through his eyes, as he smiled and said, strictly speaking, I'm not really a good person. Chapter 10. So, my marriage to Martin was settled. The Liu family quickly sent people to start preparing for the wedding. I received another call from Oscar one weekend. What is it? After a pause, he finally spoke in a low voice. There are still some of your things at my place. Just throw them away. Cora! His voice was filled with urgency. I was wrong this time, okay? Miss Sue, would you like to come over to get your wedding dress measurements taken? The voice of a dress shop attendant interrupted from the side. There was silence on the other end of the phone. Are you on a shoot? He asked. I paused. Oscar, we've broken up. Where are you? Oscar, I've gone back home. I won't be acting anymore, so please stop looking for me. Home? You've gone back to Haicheng? Why are you trying on a wedding dress there? Is it for a friend? I didn't answer. He hesitated, then spoke again. I went to film a reality show the night you left, and I just got back. Where in Haicheng are you? I'll come find you. Oscar, I interrupted him. I'm getting married. Chapter 11. Before I hung up, Oscar remained silent. I tossed my phone into my bag and rubbed my tired eyes. Hearing his voice had stirred up some complicated feelings in me. After all, I used to believe I would love him forever. I never thought there would be a day when I would tell him over the phone that I was getting married. Martin arrived about half an hour later. He was also there to get his suit measurements taken. You seem a bit distracted, he observed. Didn't sleep well? I shook my head. No, it's just that all the wedding preparations have been a bit exhausting. They keep asking you about everything because they think you need to control every detail. But if you don't need that, you can delegate appropriately, focus on the key points and outcomes, and let others handle the rest. Is that okay? Of course. Otherwise, the managers would work themselves to death. He smiled, and the same goes for the lady of the Liu family. But I'm afraid I won't do well. He smiled. Cora, do you know? Every year during Liu Group's recruitment, I always attend the final interviews, and the people we hire are the best in the industry. I tilted my head, looking at him. What I mean is, maybe we haven't interacted much yet, but I have confidence in my judgment of people. Knowing he was trying to comfort me, I smiled. I appreciate that, Mr. Liu. However, He paused thoughtfully. Maybe we should get to know each other better before the wedding. I took the tie the attendant handed me and tied it around his neck, casually asking, "How do we do that?" "Tomorrow is the weekend," he considered. "How about we go see a movie?" Chapter 12. That night, Martin bought the movie tickets and sent me the showtime. On Saturday evening, he ditched his usual formal attire and showed up in a hoodie and casual pants, which gave him a boyish charm. Passers-by, especially young girls, couldn't stop glancing at him. After the movie, we walked side by side down the street. To make walking easier, I wore a pair of canvas shoes, but after just a few steps, my shoelaces came undone twice. When they came undone for the third time, I sighed and was about to kneel down to tie a double knot, but someone beat me to it. Martin knelt in front of me, his slender fingers deftly looping my laces and tying a complex knot. "There, that should stay tied," he said with a smile as he stood up. I finally snapped out of my thoughts, shook my foot, and sure enough, it was tight. Thank you, Cora." The sound of my name, spoken by someone else, made my blood freeze in my veins. I looked up, startled. Not far away stood a familiar figure. Oscar. Maybe we had spent too much time together, but even with a mask on, I could tell his expression was far from good. He took a few quick steps toward us, stopping in front of me and Martin. "And this is..." Martin looked at me. "Oscar. I told you about him, my ex-boyfriend." Martin seemed surprised for a moment, but quickly smiled and extended his hand graciously. "Hello, Mr. Song. I'm Cora's fiancé, Martin." Oscar's face turned even paler. Chapter 13. In the cafe, Oscar and I sat across from each other. A few minutes earlier, the three of us had bumped into each other on the street, and Oscar had insisted on talking to me alone. After getting my permission, Martin returned to the car to wait. "You're still so clumsy," he suddenly said softly. "You never could tie your shoelaces properly. No matter how many times I showed you." I stayed silent. "Oscar, I used the method you taught me, but it still doesn't work. Before, I always tied your shoelaces for you," he added softly. "Yes, but that was before." Later, he didn't just tie my shoelaces, he tied Alicia's as well, and eventually, I had to tie them myself. "You purposely found someone to pretend to be your fiancé just to fool me, didn't you?" he suddenly asked. I shook my head. "I really am getting married." "Oscar, I don't believe you." He looked up, staring at me as if trying to find any sign of deceit. I sighed. After a moment, his expression showed a clear hint of panic. "Cora." He tightly grasped my hands on the table. "Alicia and I were just a publicity stunt. I swear I never crossed any boundaries behind your back." That day, she got caught in the rain while filming, and her place was far away, so I let her come up to shower. Nothing happened. I swear. I was angry that day and said things I shouldn't have. I really thought we were just having a fight, like we used to. "Didn't you want to be the female lead in that new drama?" "I've already talked to the director, and the role is yours, Cora." "I've made up my mind too. After this contract ends, I won't accept any more publicity stunts. Let's go public, okay? From now on, we can act together, and you'll always be my leading lady, okay?" Cora, his eyes were slightly red. "When we first got together, we promised that no matter what happened, we wouldn't break up so easily, didn't we?" "Yes, we did promise that." I looked up, quietly staring at the man in front of me, the man I once loved so deeply, who I was willing to endure everything for, who I was willing to sacrifice myself for. But in the end, he was the one who let go first. He was just enjoying the thrill of flirting with others while basking in my loyalty. I slowly pulled my hands away. "Oscar, I'm getting married. I don't want my future husband to go through the pain I've experienced. So please." I looked him straight in the eye. "Don't come looking for me again. I've already left the entertainment industry. Acting was just a hobby for me. If I really wanted to be a leading lady, my brother could arrange countless roles for me. I just don't want that." "Your brother?" He looked confused. "It doesn't matter anymore." I shook my head. I used to think about bringing him home on the day we went public. introducing him to my brother. I used to wonder if he'd be surprised when he found out I was the heiress of the Sioux group. But now, none of that matters. I loved you, so I want to leave us with some dignity. With that, I took out my phone and, in front of him, blocked his number. Since our relationship was never public, let's just be strangers from now on. Chapter 14. Back in the car, Martin was working on his laptop, his profile looking stern. When he saw me, he closed the laptop and turned to face me. Sorry. I apologized first. I didn't know he would find this place. He was silent for a moment. Personally, it doesn't affect me. But for Lou Group, he paused. Lou Group has always been a discreet company. I'm not ready to see its name in the gossip headlines alongside a celebrity's. I understand. I nodded. I'll take care of it. If you could really handle it, he wouldn't have come to Haicheng, would he? He said softly. I was taken aback. Why do I feel like he seems a bit upset? Sometimes, what's difficult for one person to handle can be easier for two, he said, turning his head. Do you want my help? How would you help? The simplest way is for you to move into my place. What? He sighed. Helen is traveling, right? If he comes to your place looking for you, and you're alone, what will you do? Are you ready to be photographed by the paparazzi and appear in the news before our wedding? Don't you think that if he sees you living at your fiancé's house, he'll stop coming around? It does seem to make some sense, but wouldn't that be inconvenient for you? He smiled a little. After all, we'll be living together after we get married, so just think of it as moving in early. Chapter 15. Martin is very efficient. The next day, my things were already moved into the guest room of his spacious apartment. As expected, Oscar didn't come looking for me again, and after moving in together, having breakfast and dinner together, I got to know Martin much better. For example, he likes to drink black coffee in the morning, doesn't eat cilantro, doesn't like fish but is very particular about removing the bones. For example, he exercises for an hour every day, often works before going to bed, and really doesn't snore. For example, he gets drawn into the ridiculous plots of certain TV dramas, sometimes joins me in discussing them, and even has some interest in the novels I read. And also, he talks to me about work, business, and asks me what I want to do in the future. Actually, I've always wanted to start an entertainment company. I thought for a moment, to give newcomers like I once was more opportunities. Martin's home is minimalist in style, but there's a small bar with a good selection of drinks. I had previously learned mixology as a hobby, and with his consent, I sometimes prepare a couple of drinks for myself. That night, I was making a cocktail when he came home. Do you want something to drink? I asked while sipping my drink. He took off his jacket, walked over, and looked at me with a half smile. You drink at my house every day. Do you really trust me that much? Huh? What are you mixing? Oh, I made a sweet cocktail. Do you want me to make you a bomb shot? I'll have what you're having. Huh? What I'm having? I still had alcohol in my mouth, and my brain froze for a second. Sure, but you have to drink it from a glass. Of course, he said with a gentlemanly smile. How else would you want me to drink it? A wave of heat rushed up from my ears. I should bury my head in a glass of liquor and disappear into the ground. He took the glass from my hand and laughed softly. This Sunday night, Helen will be back from her trip. How about we take a drive during the day? That change of topic came at just the right moment. I quickly nodded. Sounds good. Chapter 16. On Sunday, Martin took me to his estate in the countryside. On the way back, I received a call from Laura. She excitedly told me that I had been nominated for Best Supporting Actress at this year's Jiangqing International Film Festival. The Jiangqing International Film Festival is a highly prestigious award in the industry, and winning would be a significant recognition of my professional abilities. Cora, sis. Actually, Aussie has now brought me onto his team. Oscar has been talking to me a lot lately, and all he asks about is how things used to be with you. Honestly, I feel like he still has feelings for you. I've told him all about the times you were mistreated. Honestly, he ignored you way too much before, and every time I tell him, I get really mad. Just thinking about it makes my blood boil. Oscar always goes silent after hearing me. Oh, by the way, Alicia has been looking for Oscar a lot lately, but she came out crying a couple of times. Laura kept talking on the other end, but I suddenly realized that life in the entertainment world, in Jiangqing, seemed so distant from me now. It seems like I've moved on, faster than I expected. Why is that? I turned my head and looked at the person next to me, who was focused on driving, and I stared at him absent-mindedly. Cora. After a while, Martin suddenly spoke up. If you keep staring at me like that, I'm going to get a little scared. Don't the novels you read always write that when the female lead has something bad to say, she stares at the other person for a long time before speaking? Martin. Yes? I think you should read fewer novels. They're affecting your CEO image. He let out a small laugh. It's just that I like what you appreciate. Just as he said that, he made a turn. It rained yesterday. Let's get the car washed. Chapter 17. The car wash owner knew Martin, and as soon as we arrived, he started calling him Mr. Liu nonstop. After some small talk, Martin sat in the waiting room, pulled out his phone, and started handling some work, but his brows suddenly furrowed. We've been photographed. I leaned in to see, and sure enough, there were pictures of us from when we stopped at the rest area, showing me standing by the car. The caption read, Cora nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Enjoying a trip with her sugar daddy. The words were dripping with malice. I'll take care of it. Martin stepped outside and made a few phone calls. About 10 minutes later, he returned. It's all handled. It seems like it was bought by one of the other nominees. The other nominees? I looked up the list of the 5 nominees this year. Of the other 4, 3 of them I had no connection with. But the 4th was Alicia. No wonder. I've left the industry. Yet she's still thinking about me. Once the car was washed, the owner walked over with a smile. I've seen Mr. Liu with many cars, but I've never seen you bring a lady. Is this Helen's sister, Cora? So, you're Miss Sue, the owner said, suddenly understanding, and smiled. I visited Mr. Sue's new garage last month. His collection of cars is truly amazing. I nodded and smiled. Wait! Hold on! A new garage? Chapter 18. Martin and I returned to my house. As soon as we entered the villa, a cushion came flying straight at Martin. Martin, you bastard! My brother jumped up. You tricked my sister into moving in with you while I was away on a business trip. Martin, brother. I walked over, rubbing my forehead. Shouldn't you explain a few things first? Huh? Is our family going bankrupt? My brother froze for a moment, then quickly looked at Martin. Don't bother. Martin shrugged. Old Jean let it slip. So she knows. You. My brother was exasperated. So, you didn't sell your cars. Instead, you built a big garage and moved all your precious cars there. Yes. And what about Dad's antique paintings and calligraphy? We recently bought a big new house for the family. When Mom and Dad return for the holidays, we'll move in together. We've stored some of the things there for now. His voice trailed off. What else? I clenched my fists. Let me explain. Martin walked over. I asked Helen to help me. My brother sighed in relief. You're a true friend. But it was his idea to fake bankruptcy and arrange a marriage. My brother, Cora. Here's the thing. My brother quickly said. I did deceive you. But this was actually something that Martin, Mom, Dad, and I all agreed on together. Once we found out you were being mistreated in the entertainment industry, bullied, and then went through a breakup, we were really worried. I froze for a moment. You knew? I thought you never cared about the entertainment industry. He raised his hand, sighed, and placed it on my head. Silly sister. I was never interested in that world. But you were there. So how could I not pay attention? I've been checking entertainment news 800 times a day. And him. My brother pointed at Martin. You might not know this, but he's liked you for many years. I stared blankly at Martin. He, has had his eye on you since you were in college. But back then, I thought you were too young, and he was too clever. I was afraid you'd get hurt, so I put a small obstacle in his way. My brother cleared his throat. But I didn't expect him to actually wait all these years. Do you remember? Before you left home to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, Mom and Dad arranged a blind date for you. But you refused to go no matter what. My brother sighed. That blind date was with him. I figured he was sincere about you, so I thought he could be a suitable brother-in-law. This time, when you got hurt, Mom and Dad actually bought plane tickets to come back. But we knew your personality. You'd pretend nothing was wrong, and you definitely wouldn't go on a blind date. So we all agreed that to help you move on quickly, we'd pretend not to know anything and give you and Martin a chance to connect. To give him a chance. As for those who bullied you, your brother will take care of them. Huh? I was stunned. What are you planning to do? What do you think I've been doing on this business trip? I've already bought that drama series. My brother sneered. It's a joke. Bully my sister. And you think that show will air? I've also contacted the director who got fired earlier. The script still has potential, so I'll get in touch with him to remake it. I stared at my brother, then at Martin, noticing that he was also frowning slightly. I think you're being too impulsive, not considering the return on investment, he said. My brother instantly exploded. Do I need to consider the return on investment when avenging my sister? And what have you done for her? Tell me. At that moment, Martin's phone chimed. He pressed a button, and a voice message played. Mr. Liu, the acquisition of X Entertainment is almost finalized. If you have time, we're waiting for you at the company. X Entertainment? Isn't that the company Oscar and Alicia belong to? My brother was also stunned. Why did you buy that entertainment company? You've always wanted to start an entertainment company, right? Here's one ready-made for you, Martin said, looking at me as if he were handing me a gift of a head of cabbage for dinner. My brother, and you have the nerve to criticize me? You bought an entire company. Martin calmly replied. The company will make money, and Cora is interested. It's better than you buying a show that won't even air. My brother, me, Martin left for the office. Cora, be honest with me. After a long silence, my brother turned to me. After spending so much time with him, do you like him even a little? He squinted. If not, I'll get rid of him right away. I may not be good at everything, but I'm very experienced in that. Do I like him? Their words, and all the little moments we've shared recently, played back in my mind like frames from a movie. Maybe I can be brave enough to try again, brother, even if Sue Group isn't going bankrupt. That contract with the Liu family is still pretty important, right? Well, so, I smiled. Let's go ahead and sign it. Chapter 19. On the day of the film festival's award ceremony, Martin flew with me to Jiangqing and then drove me to the venue. On the way, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, I noticed my left hand felt heavy. There was a ring on my ring finger. As we entered the venue, a few familiar faces came over to greet me. One of them looked at my gown in awe and exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, this looks like Andrew's latest design this year. There's only one of these in the world, right?" Before I could respond, a haughty voice chimed in from behind. "When you hook up with someone, of course, you dress differently." Alicia walked over with a dazzling smile. "But you know, no matter how well a chicken dresses, it'll never turn into a phoenix, right, Cora?" Immediately, a crowd gathered around. "Ollie, are you and Oscar about to make things official? This time, you're the hottest contender for Best Supporting Actress." Alicia answered with a bright smile while throwing me a provocative glance. It all felt a bit childish. I decided to let it go for now. After all, I didn't want her to spoil my mood at the film festival. Soon, the award ceremony began. Before announcing the Best Supporting Actress, the screen showed clips of the 5 nominees. Alicia maintained a calm and confident smile, right up until the host announced, "The Best Supporting Actress is Cora." Her expression crumbled instantly, captured by the camera before they could cut away. Honestly, I was surprised too. Standing on the podium, I still felt a bit dazed. The senior actor presenting the award smiled as she shook my hand. She said, "Cora, I've watched your performances. Even though you've played supporting roles, Each one has been so vibrant. You've done an excellent job. My eyes welled up slightly as I accepted the trophy and expressed my thanks on stage. After 4 years of acting, even though I had decided to leave the entertainment industry, it felt good to finally receive this long overdue recognition. So, as long as you work hard, you will be noticed eventually. The ceremony continued smoothly until Oscar, last year's Best Actor, came on stage to present the Best Actor award. The host asked him how he felt this year compared to last year. He paused for a moment. Last year, I actually forgot to thank someone. Oh, and who is that? The host asked with a smile. He hesitated. She was by my side for a long time, supporting me from my days as an unknown actor to where I am now. But I never properly introduced her to everyone. The audience immediately made knowing sounds, and the camera quickly panned to Alicia. The production team even added cute little heart bubbles to the screen. I'd really like to take this opportunity to congratulate her. Huh? Why congratulate her? Is it because you two are about to? Because she also won an award today. The host's eyes widened, and whatever they had prepared to say got stuck in their throat. After a moment, they stammered. Oh, well, then let's congratulate her together. Alicia's face froze once again. This time, it was in full view on the big screen, even more obvious than before. Many in the audience began whispering to each other, and quite a few people started looking at me with curiosity. After all, among today's female winners, Best Actress, Best Animated Film Director, etc., all were in their 50s. Aside from them, the only one who fit Oscar's description was me. Chapter 20. After the ceremony, I deliberately lingered a bit, but I still saw Oscar at the garage entrance. Cora, he called, his voice hoarse. I hesitated for a moment, then walked up to him. Oscar, there's no need for this. He shook his head. I owe you an apology. I sighed. A peaceful breakup was the last bit of dignity I wanted to preserve for both of us. If you keep dwelling on the past, it's just going to turn into an obsession. But I can't move on. His eyes reddened as he looked at me. Cora, I really can't move on. Could you give me another chance? Cora. I turned around. Martin was walking toward me, holding a woman's coat. Each step he took was steady and firm. Are you cold? He asked, taking my hand and frowning slightly. No, I'm fine. Have you been waiting long? Are you tired? I'm not tired. Let's get your coat on first. After thoughtfully draping the coat over my shoulders, Martin finally turned to face Oscar, whose face had gone pale. Mr. Song, what a coincidence. We meet again. He smiled slightly, almost as if he were apologetic. Sorry, we've got a celebration planned at home for Cora, so we won't stay to catch up with you. Chapter 21. Back in the car, I opened my phone. As expected, Oscar's speech had pushed my name back into the trending topics. Hashtag Oscar Cora secret relationship hashtag. Hashtag Oscar and Alicia just TA ship hashtag. Hashtag did Cora win the award thanks to Oscar? Meanwhile, the video of Alicia's post-ceremony interview had already surpassed 10 million views. This world is inherently unfair. I've grown used to it, she said, her eyes red with tears. But no matter what injustices I face, I will stay true to myself and continue to create great works for everyone. I don't want to say much about my personal feelings, she added, her voice trembling. I have a clear conscience. As I kept scrolling, a rapidly rising topic caught my attention. Hashtag Lou Group hashtag. I clicked on it and discovered that the official Weibo account of Lou Group had just posted a message 10 minutes ago. Our boss lady is the best. The post included a picture of me on stage receiving the award, with the large diamond on my ring finger gleaming under the lights. I turned to look at the man driving beside me. Aren't you supposed to be a low-profile company? Without missing a beat, he calmly replied, our boss lady won an award, and everyone's happy. We just posted a simple message on the official account. Doesn't that still count as low profile? But that wasn't the end of it. As I scrolled further, I saw that my brother had also jumped into the fray, refusing to be outdone. My sister is the best. Thanks to him, Sue Group was also now trending. Cora, at a red light. Martin stopped the car and turned to me. There are some things that might be better to address today. I nodded. Do you need my help? I shook my head. No, I'll handle this myself. Chapter 22. I made a few phone calls. An hour later, the original director of the previous drama posted a long article detailing the truth behind the casting controversy and his subsequent firing. He included videos from the casting process and the original cast list. After that, videos of me being maliciously mistreated on set were also released. I had been willing to let things go and preserve everyone's dignity, that was part of my upbringing, but that didn't mean I would tolerate people becoming increasingly aggressive and taking advantage of the situation. Some people, it seems, never realize their mistakes unless they face consequences. Soon, others who had been bullied by Alicia on different sets but had been too afraid to speak out also started sharing their videos and evidence. Oscar's name quickly became a trending topic again. The reason so many people had kept silent about Alicia's bullying was largely due to their fear of Oscar. I'm turning from a fan to a hater. Oscar is just disgusting. I just want to slap Oscar twice and ask what he was thinking. What's wrong with maintaining a good relationship and focusing on acting? Haha. I guess Oscar and Alicia really are a match made in heaven. Looking back at that rap party video, Oscar and Alicia are truly repulsive. Cora must have felt awful that day. I owe Cora an apology. Count me in. I owe her one too. The internet was buzzing nonstop. Even the film festival's organizing committee released a statement. The entire selection process was completely fair and transparent. Regarding certain actors' insinuations about the committee's integrity, we are seriously considering legal action to protect our reputation. Later, the online chatter continued with a mix of excitement and complaints. There's so much drama. I can't keep up. I don't even want to sleep tonight. If Alicia put as much effort into acting as she does into interviews and fake relationships, she might actually win a Grand Slam. Haha. She hinted that Cora's win was rigged. But come on. Cora is the Sue family heiress and Mrs. Liu. Acting is just a hobby for her. If she wanted to rig the awards, Alicia would be shipped off to Africa and wouldn't be jumping around here. Here's a little background for everyone. Let me tell you just how powerful the Sue and Liu families really are. Summary: after all this drama, Alicia and Oscar aren't even worthy of tying Cora's shoes. When we arrived at the house in Zhongqing, Martin parked the car and checked his phone. Well done, he murmured with a raised eyebrow. Even better than I expected. Of course, I smiled. Being around someone, you naturally pick up a few things. I'm not one to bully others. But I'm no saint either. I simply revealed the truth to the public, and everyone could clearly see who was in the right and who was in the wrong. Water can carry a boat, but it can also sink it. Martin chuckled softly, unfastening his seatbelt and turning toward me. Mrs. Liu. His eyes sparkled as if holding 1,000 stars. Congratulations on the award. You truly deserve it. Chapter 23. That night, I went to bed early and slept quite well. Because the next day, I had to visit X Entertainment. At 9 a.m., I arrived at the company with my assistant, and from a distance, I could already hear Alicia throwing a tantrum. I've contributed so much to this company. Most of you at X Entertainment rely on me to survive, and now that something's gone wrong, you're just abandoning me? Where's your conscience? Someone muttered under their breath. But isn't it because you said nonsense during the interview? What did you say? Alicia snapped. I want to see the boss. Where is he? Why hasn't he been here for days? I walked into the company. What are you talking about? What do you mean there's a new boss? Explain it to me. The assistant who was trying to calm Alicia down noticed me and immediately fell silent. Quickly running over. Good morning, Ms. Sue. You're here. I nodded. What's all the commotion about this early in the morning? The assistant wiped the sweat from his brow. Nothing major. We'll have it sorted out right away. I looked up and locked eyes with Alicia's pale face, filled with disbelief. The office has been cleaned and is ready for you. Would you like to take a look? The assistant said with a smile. I nodded. As I passed Alicia, I paused. I believe I heard you wanted to see me? She bit her lip. No. I didn't mean. Don't worry. I smiled. I'll be speaking with every employee. Your turn will come. Chapter 24. After reviewing X Entertainment's internal documents, I discovered just how much money the company had invested in Alicia over the years. Many talented new actors had been suppressed by Alicia for years, unable to rise, and were deprived of the resources they deserved. I implemented sweeping reforms within the company and brought in many new talents to cultivate. At first, Alicia resisted, so I simply threw down a stack of photos. I've seen your file. Those photos of you partying with internet celebrities and young men. This company spent a lot of money to cover them up. If you want to terminate your contract, you'll need to repay the company for those expenses and the losses from the endorsements, according to the terms. In the end, she paid the company and left in disgrace. Oscar hadn't shown up at the company for a long time, and he didn't have any new projects lined up. His contract with the company was also nearing its end. His fan club announced its disbandment, and many directors, wary of the backlash from his haters, were hesitant to cast him in new films. Then one day, Laura suddenly called me, her voice anxious. Cora, Aussie fell from a building and broke a bone. He refuses to see anyone and says he only wants to see you. Cora, I'm worried about him. He doesn't seem to be in a good state. Could you come to see him? That day, Martin had just flown to Jiangqing to help me with the relocation of X Entertainment's headquarters to Haicheng. I'll go with you, he said. Should I really go? I hesitated. Don't pursue a desperate enemy, he said calmly, but it's best to make sure he gives up completely. Chapter 25. In the hospital, Oscar lay weakly in bed, his leg in a cast. I took a script out of my bag. There's a low-budget web series that needs a second male lead. The production team thinks you might be a good fit. You can audition once your leg heals. Cora. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with pain. Is this all we have left to talk about? Just work? My eyes drifted to his injured leg. I sighed. Ouch. I turned around to see Martin suddenly rubbing his forehead, his brows furrowed. What's wrong? I quickly went over to him. I suddenly have a bit of a headache. Maybe you didn't sleep enough last night, I said anxiously. I told you last night not to, but you insisted. Yes. It's my fault. Does it hurt here? It really hurts. Should we see a doctor? It hurts. Sue. I paused and turned back to see Oscar, his face even paler than before. I'll consider the script. All right. Then, get some rest. I nodded, then turned and led Martin out. I still needed to find a doctor to check on him. Sue. Oscar suddenly called out again. I turned back. My contract is about to expire. I won't be able to renew it this time, will I? I shook my head. It's time to let go. He was silent for a moment, then gave a bitter smile. I just wanted to try one more time. But I didn't realize I had already lost. Later, Oscar left the country, and I never heard from him again. He disappeared entirely from the domestic film industry. I moved X Entertainment's headquarters to Haicheng, ending the long-distance aspect of my life with Martin. The drama my brother bought was recast with 2 talented new actors that I helped choose with the director, and the series became a huge hit online. The company was doing well too. I followed my own vision, mentoring new talent and giving those who truly love acting more opportunities. One day, I was making a drink at home when Martin came back from work. Want a drink? I asked him. He glanced at the script next to me. Is this for the company's next production? Yeah, a romance. A romance, he asked. Does it have a second male lead? Yeah, I said. Still mixing the drink. The male lead lets the female lead down, and then the second male lead shows up. But this second male lead isn't gentle. He's quite dark and cunning. I looked up and met his gaze, half smiling. So, Mrs. Liu, have you fallen a little bit for your second male lead? He asked. The warm light of the dining room cast a gentle glow over him, making him look almost unbearably tender. I smiled. You know, most readers say someone like you shouldn't be called the second male lead. You should be called the late arriving male lead. He raised an eyebrow. How do you know everything? You have to check the comment section when you read. And besides, I learn quickly. Does this man even do his job, or does he spend his time sneaking peeks at novels in his CEO office? So, do you like him? He asked again. I've answered him countless times, day and night. since we got married. And he still asks, do you want a drink? I tilted my head. He nodded. I handed him the blue cocktail I'd mixed, took a sip of my pink one, then stood on tiptoe and gently kissed him. Blue curacao and cherry brandy blended together, perfectly embodying the name of the drink. Heart to heart, love to the depths.